and a performer, and the owner of Pure Romance. She also owns 3 dating sites, websites, interracial relationships, Christian singles, and rich singles. So I'll turn it over here to Akua.
Thank you very much, Shelley. Today we are joined by Laura Campbell, who works in the mental health field, as well as Andrea Thompson, who works as a teacher and reporter, Marlene M. McKenzie, who works as an install sales manager, and Shelley Jarrett, who is the founder of SMJ Magazine. And so, ladies, thank you so much for having this discussion. I think that we're going to generate a lot of conversations and maybe some new thoughts as well that people hadn't considered. So Shelley shared with me some stats, and interracial marriages have increased steadily since 1967. That's according to the San Francisco Chronicles. 50 years ago in the US, the US Supreme Court legalized interracial marriage. It wasn't legalized in every state before then, and some interracial couples, I remember reading about how some of them had to move from the state that they were living in to go live in a state where they wouldn't be seen as criminals. Interracial marriage, it is on the rise, and interracial relationships are on the rise too. In your opinions, who is Mr. Right? So, Laura, how about you? Can you let us know who is Mr. Right?
Well, in my opinion, Mr. Right is the person that you fall in love with. Mr. Right is the person that makes you feel whole. Mr. Right is that person that makes you have butterflies in your stomach. Mr. Right is the person that you think about, you write about him in your journal, and when you meet him, you feel like there's a soul connection. He makes you happy.
Wonderful. And how about you, Andrea? Who's Mr. Right for you?
To be honest, and just to clarify, I'm the only one up here, I believe, that's single. I do have biracial children, but I am single. I would say Mr. Right would be the person that is right for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be the person that, because we know there's plenty of different types of relationships, but I would believe that the person that God has ordained for you will be that person that you just gel together, you just flow together. There's a chemistry that is natural. I believe that would be the person that's just right for you.
Thank you. And Marlene, who do you think Mr. Right is?
Well, thanks for asking that question. It is a valid question because a lot of people are making Mr. Right, trying to make Mr. Right, and trying to shape and form Mr. Right. But really, Mr. Right is the person that you grow to know, the person that you get connected with. And a lot of time people say, oh, I want to fall in love. But I always say to the single adults that I minister to, you want to grow in love. And when you grow in love, though, you are planting and laying a strong foundation. Because when you fall in love, you can easily fall out of love. But when you're growing in love, you become friends with that person first. You get to know the person. Don't worry about skin color. Don't worry about the looks or exactly what they do, money, etc. You become friends with that person, hang out with that person, get to know the person, not just the shell of the person, but the heart. It's so important that you know the heart of the person. And as you're growing, you get to know, is this the right person for me? Is this the right person that God has selected for me? And as you discover that, you start growing into a relationship. And by the time that two individuals stand at the altar and say, I do, they are marrying the best friend because that is the right person for them, and they know it through growing into that relationship.
Wonderful. And Shelley, what's your opinion? Do you agree with some of the opinions that were shared by Laura, Andrea, and Marlene?
Sure. For me, I think Mr. Right is someone that I can connect with on a spiritual level. That's first and foremost. Mr. Right is somebody that accepts me for who I am. And yeah, cares about me and my love language. That's very important. They must know my love language. For me, when I met my husband, I had no idea, because I was not even looking for a guy at the time. So I think it was by divine appointment that we met, and it just so happened that he was everything that I would look for in a man. So it didn't matter what color he was. He just treated me the way I wanted to be treated, and you know, that's why we're married today. And yeah, I said to him usually, where have you been all my life? Like, you know. But you know, we walk on our journeys, and when the time comes for you to get to your destiny with the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, you know, it will happen, and you would feel it in your heart. You know, it's a heart thing, you know. And so, yeah, today we're happily married, and we're also in business together, so that makes it even more better, because where his weakness are my strength, and my strength is his weakness. So, you know, we have our fights like everybody else, but it doesn't last too long. We're friends again. He is my best friend. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. So I am wondering now, we've talked about who the right person is, but I'm wondering about the past. Do you regret not giving someone from your past a chance at dating you because their ethnicity was different from yours? Has anyone ever experienced that? I think I'll ask Andrea first.
Now that I think back, I would probably say yes. Yes, because for me, I exclusively only dated Caucasian. Hence my children are biracial. I kind of excluded a whole entire race of men because of my preference. Where now I look back and I'm like, you really have to look at the character of the person, not the color of your skin. So now I'm more open as God, you know, He gives you the wisdom to realize that you can't just put everybody in one particular bracket or one race in a particular bracket. You have to look at each person individually. And so now I look back and I'm like, yeah, I should have gave maybe that particular person a try, because there was some good qualities in them, but I was kind of put in a block up because of the color of their skin.
Okay, it's wonderful insight. Marlene, do you feel that limiting preferences based on, or limiting opportunities based on preferences, similar to what Andrea shared, do you think that that's a good thing? And maybe that's, do you think that that could be a way of saying, okay, God, maybe this is what I should be doing, this is the kind of person I should be pursuing, or do you think that we should really be open to everyone?
I think it's important to be open. I wouldn't say to everyone, but as you connect with people and you start talking to individuals and you start to get to know them, that's how you will really make the difference and make that decision. Some people will not talk to the opposite color just because that's how they grew up. But as you speak to them and you get to know the individual, that's how you will know if that is a connection for you. So to limit, it can be restricting. It's important that if you just allow yourself to just get to know the person, it makes a huge difference.
Laura, have you ever been through that experience where you haven't given someone a chance because of preconceived notions about what their race, what people from their race would be like, or what the experience would be like with that person?
I think that's a great question, and I was thinking about it, but I think for myself, I can't say I regret not entering a relationship with somebody of a different race or of the same race in the past, because I believe it's a growth process. And I had to grow in the relationships that I experienced, and not so much grow in terms of who was better from the other, or who was better looking, or who treated me better, but personally, and the things that I needed to find out about myself personally. So, you know, in the way that I entered a relationship, or I didn't date, or my cultural beliefs, or my physical preferences, I think that was, all of that was led me to where I am today. So meeting my husband, I was much more open, I was much more learned in the sense that I was open for change. I was open for a new experience. Maybe where I'm at now is what I've always wanted. However, I ended up dating men of the same color, you know, and so I think it was a good experience. I think it was just purely growth, and so I don't have any regrets. But I'm thankful for the experiences that I had, that I was able to meet my husband, and I'm so happy. And it's just amazing how it happens. I didn't have any preconceived notions when I met him. It was just, it happened, and it was just everything that I wanted. Or he came with that package, and it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this. It happened at the right time, in everything, in the environment, the financial situation, educational situation, everything that happened at the right time.
Very nice, very interesting insight. And I have this question for Shelley first. I'm going to ask you, and then I'll go down in order. So how much do you factor your friends and family members' opinions into your dating decisions? Now, according to Statistics Canada, there are 32,000 more Black women available than Black men. And I know that some people from any culture, but in the Black culture too, they are not very supportive of interracial dating. And so, what's your reaction to people who, of your friends and family members, if they see a couple that's walking by, they're an interracial couple, and some people, they will comment to their friends and family members if they don't approve, even if they don't know those people or their journey. So how much do you factor your friends and family members' opinions into your relationship decisions? I know you're married now, but think back to when you were single. And
actually, my family were quite open, because I have nieces and nephews that are married interracially, but that wasn't a determining factor with me at all, because it's a different generation. But for me, when I met my husband and I told my family, my mom loves him actually. My mom loves him. The family loves him. I never had any problems really, to be honest. And even if people didn't like it, it doesn't matter to me, because it's my life, my happiness, and they'll just have to grow to like it. So if they love me, they'll love who I choose, right?
Do you correct people or do you share that opinion with people who share their opinions if they don't approve of interracial dating, or do you just stay quiet?
You know what? I haven't come across anybody that opposes it or anything like that. Like, I haven't been around anybody, so I really don't know. My church is predominantly Black, and my husband and I attend church regularly, and people just accepts us at the church. And for him too, I don't think he cares. So it doesn't really bother us at all. We just go about our business, and even if people disapprove of it, they don't show it to me or they don't say anything to me. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Friends and family members' opinions into dating and relationship decisions.
Thanks for asking. The Bible says there is wisdom in the multitude of those counselors. And so with my family, I do value their decision. They will not make the final decision for me, but how they communicate with me and remind me of things that I need to know can make a difference. For example, when I had accountability partners, and one was my sister and my best friend. So I had set this up just to ensure that I would make the right decision for future relationships, because I came out of a lot of broken relationships before I met my husband, my wonderful husband, Tom. So when I would date, it didn't matter who, they were a part of what I was doing and the decisions I was making, because I respected them. And there's so many times when you've heard that term, love can be blind. Right? So they were there to help me make sure that I'm not seeing red flags and ignoring red flags. So for me, my husband, he is Caucasian. I've not dated Caucasian before. But what happened is he just walked into a Bible study. We were in a group, I led a singles group for 10 years at my church, and we were having Bible study, and he just showed up. And to be honest, when he showed up and he started coming out to the activities, he was such a nice man. I actually wanted to connect him with another lady who is a single mom. And I thought he would be perfect for her and her children. But little did I know that gradually he was interested in me. And I didn't know what to do, because I made a commitment that I would date in my group. I would just be the leader and I would not date. But one thing led after another, and it was amazing. So in my situation, it happened as it gradually took place, and it was just perfect. There was no issue with the color. The only issue I had, a couple just said, Marlene, he just doesn't look like your type. And they were just trying to say he doesn't look like your type, and it wasn't nothing to do with color, it was just their perceived ideas. But I knew what was happening in the relationship, I knew how it was blessing me, and I could see into the future. I even knew the date when we were going to get married before he even proposed. So that's how, it was like a blessing, it was like a unit for the two of us. So, no, family, I need their value. I need their opinion, and I did value it, and friends also. But no one had given me a negative feedback or response from a color viewpoint.
Thank you very much for sharing that information and sharing your story. And Laura, can you share how much do you factor your friends and family members' opinions into your dating decisions?
Actually, for me, my family and friends, their opinion and their support is really, really something that I need and look forward to. And when I met my husband and we were dating, my father lives in Jamaica. And one of the things for me, or growing up, or wanting, having this idea of getting married, I wanted very much to know that my mother and my father were also in approval of this relationship. Yes, I'm an adult, I'm not a teenager, but it was really important that, they thought this was the right move as well. So my mom gave her blessing. We went to Jamaica. And my father, my sisters, all my family members, they were just like saying, oh my God, he's like one of the family. Oh yes, this is a good one. Oh, hurry up and get married, I mean, mind you, most of all, I wanted to make sure that I was walking accordingly to the word of God, and that God was the first and foremost, ordaining this, relationship. And I remember before we even went to Jamaica, I went to my pastor then and his wife, and right as I introduced him and said, Pastor, I'm dating this man, I would like to, pursue it and, see what's, he just said yes, and right away they both laid hands on us, and I was like, wow, this is good. And they laid hands on us, and they started to pray, and the words that he spoke to us was almost as if he was saying, yes, this is it, go forth. And we went places, and people were giving us words of ministry or whatever and so forth. So it was really important that we weren't only dating, but the community and my family and friends that were around us were holding us up as well. So it means a lot. It means a lot.
And Andrea, how do you feel about your family members and friends' opinions about your relationship decisions?
Interesting question, but for me it's the flip side, because now I find it's more accepted. But back then, because I was a teenage mother, so getting pregnant at a young age, number one, they were upset with that. And then knowing that it was for somebody who was of an opposite race, we had a lot of racial tension. So for me, I didn't value their opinion back then, but now I look back and I'm like, I do now. But what I found back then is that a lot of, and I would say brothers, are black men back then, and even now, they're very into dating Caucasian. So the dark-skinned ladies were kind of pushed to the side. So you were only noticed when you were now with a Caucasian man. They're like, oh, you're a sellout. Now that you're going over, and then you realize that you had to be very careful. Are you telling me this because you care? Or are you telling me this because you just want to see me be single, right? So I had to be careful to kind of choose who spoke into my life and who, what were they telling me, and what was the fruit behind what they were saying.
When you'd receive some comments that were disapproving of your relationship, did you address those right away, or did you pray for that person and quietly just let them go on their way? Or did you confront them and say that I get to choose, or I feel God's appointed this relationship and it's not up to you to decide? What was your response?
I would, back then, because I was very argumentative, so I thank God for grace, but I would really give them choice words, because at the end of the day, it's your life, and you do have to be the one that you're comfortable. You know that God has placed this person in your life, and at the end of the day, they're not going to be there to walk the journey with you. So you value their opinion, and you, in a respectful way, you kind of let them know, okay, you know, I got this. God is working it out. You know what I mean?
Can I just add something in it? Sorry.
Yes.
I think also now that a lot of my Black sisters, friends, people from all walks of life, like when they see us together, it's like, it's caused them to start to think, oh my God, I'm still single. Look, they look happy. Oh my God, she's with a white man and there's a ring on her finger, like. And I usually wear my hair natural, and especially when it's natural and it's knotted and it's, you know, I wear, you know, bun, 2 knots or shiny bun, and they look at me and we're walking and he prefers my natural hair, so extensions. And I say to him, did I marry a Black man or did I marry a white man? So a lot of my friends, and I said yes, so now they're like, oh, maybe. I said, yes, yes you can, listen, all of this, you know, white men want to date us, they love us. My husband only dated Black women anyway. His children are Black. So I said, white men love us. They want us to see them and you know, accept them. So when they see us, they're like, wow, your natural hair, or just the way he is, and he's drinking a Heineken, or when he went to Jamaica, you know, they're like, are you Jamaican? I'm like, no, he's born in Canada, you know. So it's opened other people's eyes to see that they can do it too. So if it serves as an example, or as whatever, an example, then I'm glad for that.
Well, it's interesting because I do have a question on here that I wanted to ask, and it's, do you think some Black women avoid interracial dating because they fear they might be seen as an experiment to someone instead of as a normal person deserving of love? I know that for myself, there was someone who I got involved with, and he's European, and he's dated other women of other cultures, but not Black women for me, and I had to explain to him, I'm just as normal as anyone else. I mean, that's just as normal as you are. In fact, I think, and I did send this out in a tweet, that what you consider to be ethnic is someone else's normal. Mm-hmm. So, because to me, I said to me, you're ethnic, because when I look in the mirror, I don't see any of your features, I was saying to, but that doesn't mean that you're not normal to you. So just treat me like I'm a normal woman, just like the previous woman. And he slowly got that, and he slowly, as we got to know each other, as you were saying, Marlene, as we grow together, But Shelley, what is your opinion? Do you think that some women avoid interracial dating because they fear they might be seen as an experiment to someone instead of as a normal person deserving of love just like anyone else?
Yeah, I think maybe some Black women may have those feelings, and I want to say they're normal feelings. That's okay. It's okay to feel that way. But I think we need to give ourselves a chance and love yourself enough to be loved. Because you have to love yourself first, right? And then that glow and that aroma would come around you. And so if a man is going to see you, he's going to be attracted to that love. And always put a smile on your face. It doesn't matter if you're having a bad day or whatever, because that's an attraction. A smile is an attraction. It's because it's from the inside. It's whatever happening in the inside is what's going to come out on the outside. So if you're upset and uptight, and you may see a Black woman with an interracial person, and you kind of look over up and down, who does she think she is, and all that stuff. I think you need to release all those things, because you're just like fooling yourself, really. Just be free with yourself and attract that good aroma around you, and that would help you to meet someone. Because like I said, for me, when I met my husband, and we met in the most unusual place, the lineup of a TD Bank on a Friday afternoon, a summer Friday, and it was weird because, to be honest, it was the worst time in my life when I met this man. I was, you know, I'm just telling you that to have that smile on your face, even if it's the worst time, I can't remember what kind of impression I had on my face, but I know I was going through a real bad time when I met him, and we just met in the bank, just normal talk. I had no idea. I never dated a white man in my life, so I didn't have any, you know, conceived notions of who I would marry or whatever. I wasn't even looking for someone. Well, we met and we just talked. I was the one that spoke first, of course. I just normal conversation. And at that time, I worked with one of the banks, and he approached me and he says, well, I just starting a business and I need some business insurance, and I did insurance at the time. So I said, okay, when I finish my stuff, I'll talk to you outside. I thought it was a client actually, because all I think about was clients. So I thought he was become a client, but I usually tell him he became more than a client. And so yeah, so I had no idea that we would be married today, and it's been 8 years, we've been married 3 years. And I'm the happiest woman, you know, and he spoils me to death, you know. It's crazy, yes. And you know, I say every day, where have you been? Like, you know, so I just want to say to my sisters out there, just be free within your spirit and let God work in you. You know, God can only work on a clean, pure heart. And if you truly love yourself, you're going to attract love. Doesn't matter what color the person is. You just want somebody to treat you well. Every woman wants to be treated well. And you should demand that anyways. No woman should accept anything lower than that. And it is out there. It really is out there. You must have heard about destiny. It's out there. So give yourself a chance, be free within yourself, and you will attract love.
Wonderful. And that is worthy of applause. Marlene, do you love yourself not to put limitations on your relationship quest?
Not to put limitations?
Yes.
Well, absolutely. What I wanted to say, if I could just also piggyback on, it's really important that we become healed within ourselves. If we carry the burden, the pain, the agony, the trauma that we've experienced in our lives, we will use our yesterday's decisions to make decisions for today and for tomorrow. For example, there may be sisters out there who has been abused, maybe by, say, a black man or a Caucasian guy, and so they're saying, you know, I'm not going to date someone similar to that person because of what I went through. But if you can allow the healing to take place within yourself, wholly, it will allow you to choose wisely. And if at all possible, try not to just keep focus on color. It's important that we allow ourselves to see the individual, that gentleman, as a gentleman. And then let everything take place from there. Because otherwise you will be thinking, I just want to have a certain color, and that's all you would look for. And you could meet someone and that may not be the right person. So I just wanted to communicate that, because it's so important. If you're broken and you meet someone and you marry them, and they're broken, you're gonna have a broken marriage. No one needs any more broken marriages. We don't need to have this broken heart anymore. It hurts way too much. But if you're healthy, you're whole, and you meet someone that's healthy and whole, you're gonna have the bliss of your life, which is what I'm enjoying. You know, it's been 18 years, and it's just from day one until now, it's just paradise. And I'm not exaggerating. Anyone that knows me and my husband, you can Google us, you can talk to people about us. We are having the time of our life, because I happened to be in the right place at the right time. And I know even when we started dating, he was so kind. He was so nice to me that I got to the point where I froze. And I kept thinking, you know, when is this gonna stop? When's he gonna crush me? You know, when's my heart gonna be broken again? So I started assuming that that's gonna happen. So I broke it off with him. And I remember the night that happened, it's almost like someone took a dagger and pierced my belly button. Because I was put in limitations because of what I went through in the past. And as God spoke to me and he said, Marlene, this is who you asked for. And I'm like, what? And I got to the point where I said, God, okay, I will stay single forever until you bring the right person to me. And I was willing to be single because my heart just didn't want to be broken anymore. And I used to say, okay, God, please bring someone who would treat me like a gift box with a bow on the top marked fragile. Not that I was weak, but then I know that's who I am. I needed someone to give me that tender love. And then my husband, back then he was dating, the next day he bought me a CD. Back then it was, you know, different type of audio. And it was a cassette track, and it said a lady called Lawrence Love-Toller, and it said Silver Box, beautiful spoken words, and it tied in nicely. And that just confirmed that I was limiting myself, and if I kept limiting myself, I would not be where I am today. I would not be.
Lovely. That's really, really lovely. Is there a question from the audience right now? Does anyone have anything to ask one of our panel members? Well, maybe there's more, maybe after we talk a little bit more, we discuss a bit more, there'll be some more questions. Oh, yes.
Hi, my name is Sally. I'm one of the volunteers. Hi, my name is Sally. I'm one of the volunteers for Rose. My question is, what are the challenges dating out of your race, and what are the benefits? Because there's when you're dating someone that in your race, for example, you might know their culture or something like that, but when you're dating out of your culture or your race, you don't know their culture. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Love just take you. So I want to know what are the benefits and what are the challenges you face with the family, friends, and all that. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take that one first. Okay, for me, some of the benefits, for example, my husband is of 3 cultures: Ukrainian, Polish, and Russian. So I get to learn about his foods, which are pierogies, which he eats every day. I don't know how he does that, but and I try it, but I can't. I love my dumplings. Dumplings are better. And then again, on the culture side, for me, I get to tell him about my country, which is Guyana in South America, and how beautiful it is. And I get to learn about Europe, and you know, I get to go to some events that most times when I go to events with him, it's all white people. And then there's the reverse. When he comes with me, it's all black people. So we get used to going to, and really I don't feel anyway, because I get to learn from them, and then they get to learn from us. And when we go to church, we serve one God.
And so would you say that an interracial relationship is more fun than stressful?
For me, it's fun. It could be stressful sometimes, you know. Trying to, I find my husband can be a very emotional person, and that's something I have to get used to. I'm still getting used to it, because for me, I'm like, tough. Right? I don't know, just the way I was raised. Like things that he would get emotional about, I would be like, what are you worried about that for? Like, that's a piece of cake for me. I can solve that problem. And he can't understand that, right? And he gets really fussy and want to help me with so many things, but it's okay. I can handle that. I can do that. I'm from the tough school, you know? That's the way I was raised anyways, but it's okay, it's all good. He learns from me and I learn from him.
Just question though, is that him as an individual, or is it race related?
Oh no, for him it's just his personality. He's not, there's no part of him that's racist at all. Like, sometimes I think he's black. You know, so he fits in our community for me quite well. It's good. Somebody has a question here in the audience.
I have a question.
Who was first? I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes. Hi, everybody. I came late. I have a question that I really want to address. As someone that actually got married to a Caucasian person, how does it feel to, I don't know if you ladies have already addressed this issue, in terms of being accepted into the family? What was your reaction? Were you thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I'll be accepted into this family? You know, some assumptions that you were having during the time the relationship became stronger. You know that this is going to evolve to, you know, lead to something that will lead to marriage. What was your feelings? Do you have all this mixed feeling? Will I be accepted into this family? How are they going to feel that their son is getting married to a black person? Because we all know, you know, going back to history, okay? So I'm just thinking, and I'm saying.
I like to talk on that, but I let one of you guys.
Okay, for myself, I didn't have any preconceived notions, to tell you the truth. First of all, my husband has always dated black women because he's been proud, like he proudly told me about that. So I had no feeling of insecurity in the sense of that. While we were dating, he brought me to Montreal where he was born, and I met his uncles and his family member. They didn't care. They were just like, hey, and I was a part of the family. I was on the farm. I was helping to milk the cows. You know, we went to their home. They made dinner. I had no problems when I met his father and his wife, his father's wife. I think the most thing that I was concerned about was having his children accept me in their life. Not as a mother, not even as a stepmother, but as a friend or their father's wife. And I must say, I'm proud to say that I have amazing stepchildren, you know, and I know that's not the same for a lot of other people, but they accepted me, they thought I was funny, maybe cool, you know, so it was just amazing. And I proudly say that to people, like, I'm so blessed, I don't understand it. But his father was welcoming when he gave us, you know, his blessing for the wedding and everything. It was just amazing, amazing. So I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, I think you're one of those.
It's the favor of the Lord, because I've been praying. It's not so much lucky, I've been praying. I just want to touch quickly. The Bible says that we should write the vision on the wall and make it plain. Simply saying that you should write things down. Oprah, you know, secularize or whatever, they say have a vision board, which is fine. I had a vision board, and I'm thankful for my sister. She drove that into me, and I had a vision board, and I wrote what I wanted. This is what I want. Lord, this is what I want. This is what I want from this man that's coming. And I did say specifically I wanted to meet a white man with blue eyes, this height, and so forth. And this is what the Lord said. I am going to proudly say that. So, you know what I mean? And having him love me unconditionally. Our third date was at the gym. And I thought, this is it. It's going to be finished. Dad said it's a test. I'm going to fail. Because I'm going to be in gym clothes, and you can't hide in gym clothes. And he was so proud of me. He's like, you know, the rest is history. So we have a lot of preconceived thoughts and what we see on TV or media, what we heard about. A lot of it is not so. It's based on the individual.
I have a question to ask on top of that to all of you. On top of your question, did you have those fears? What would have happened if your partners, or would you ever consider, for those of you who are single, would you ever consider getting involved with someone who made it very clear up front that their family wouldn't be welcoming? Do you think you'd try to convince them to give you a chance, or would you walk away completely and try to find a man whose social network, whose family and friends would be welcoming?
Well, if I can add on to that, with Tom and I fell in love with the person. Honestly, I knew he's Caucasian, but I actually fell in love with him. Everything about him, the two of us, and especially our relationship with God, honestly, that was our glue. Everything we did was so connected, and we know it was divine. So in my situation, the color was secondary. The man was primary, and it made a huge difference. Now, regarding the family portion, I didn't have a chance to even think about that. because one of the things that I really loved and admired about my husband is his grandma. She was in her 90s when I met him, and he spent quality time with her. Like, he will go sit with her in the retirement home and spend time. He'll do her grocery, and he will talk about his family. By the time I got to meet his family, I knew them. And I knew who they were, I knew their lifestyle, I knew their behavior, the things they liked, etc. So I didn't really have a chance to even think, oh my, what if they don't like me? Because I recognized the connection he had with his family. And I also knew how much he loved and cared for his mom and the way he treated her. And I thought, man, I know he's gonna treat me that way. So as I got to know him, and I talked about earlier growing into love, we would go for drives for like 3 hours, and all we're doing is talking. We would walk for 2 hours, and what we're doing, talking. So by the time we got to more in-depth position in our relationship, we knew each other so well. We were so connected that any such fears didn't even exist for us. So again, we all have to remember it's an individual, it's a brother in Christ, it's a sister in Christ unto another. And how are we treating each other? Don't limit ourselves based on what we think, what we see, or what we are expecting. Just go for it and just have that healthy relationship. It make a huge difference in the end.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you. If I could just add, because I'm the only one up here that's single, but and I do have biracial children, but on the flip side of it, the family was not accepted of me. It was a very hard battle, and you have to understand that being racist is a deep-seated, it's so deep, because his family is Greek, and Greeks do not, some of them, I'm not gonna say all, they don't take very well to black people. So me coming into the family, he had a choice to make, whether it was to be with me or to keep his family, his inheritance. They were very wealthy people, and obviously he chose to, keep the wealth, even though we were gonna, sneak and be together. And at the end of the day, and I think you said it best, you have to love yourself. You have to love yourself enough to say, I'm going to walk away from this, because you're not going to put your children or yourself through a situation where you're constantly battling. Because when you're in an interracial relationship, and I commend all of you, but being in an interracial relationship, it's very challenging. Relationships alone is challenging, but it's two different cultures coming together. I like rice and peas, and you like steak and potato. You know what I mean? Should I cook this today? No, I want to cook this today. So there's a lot of things that you're coming together when you go out, and it's you have to really, I'm telling you, you have to love. Your love has to be so. Yeah, it has to be, you have to compromise it. You have to be in a place where you can say, you know what, no matter what, I'm gonna love you unconditionally. But there is challenges there, because not only do you have the challenges within your home, but then when you go outside, you also have the challenges. Because there's people that are out there that, they're like, why are you over there? Why are you with that person? So it's a constant
we have a question over here.
The waiter that will speak to my husband.
Right, and then totally not speak to you, and then make you feel as if like, I'm not existent, right? So you have to honestly know who you are. As a strong black woman, you have to know who you are, or there, you're gonna end up getting, walked over.
I'd just like to add to that, but there's a question here.
She had her hand up. She's first.
Yeah.
Now, my question is about, okay, my name is Reverend Anne Muhia, and my question is about your children. Because they, to be honest, my daughter is married to a Caucasian, so I know they are different. The hair is different and everything is different. And how do you help your children to identify with who they are and to be strong, who they are? Do they have crisis where they sometimes think they belong to their dad or their mom, or they have any favoritism in between there? And how do you handle that?
I'll just answer quickly because mine is very short. We have no kids. It's the second marriage. We're much older. So our kids is our business. So it's a lot easy for us.
For us, sorry, quickly, mine is quick too. I have adult children. I'm a grandma. One of my grandsons are, he's also children who are older, and I think that's also, and for his kids, you know, we have no issues in terms of that. So I have black kids and he has biracial children. And we don't plan to have any children, so that was one of the agreements. So we embrace the grandkids and we embrace his kids, and that's it. So in terms of that, I think we're on a plus side, I guess, in that sense. But for someone else going into a, you know, maybe Marlene could share this.
I guess I'm the only, with this panel, I'm the only one with a child. He's 13, and Thomas embraces both sides of the family. We have grown him to embrace both sides of the family. He's with my husband's side. They're always calling, when are you coming? If you don't come now, we're going to drag you over, right? And on my side, he'll just go over and he'll sit and he'll hang out with his cousins. And we're growing him in a way where he's embracing both sides. And we tell him, I said, Thomas, who are you? And you know, because some kids will say, you know, I'm black or I'm white. And we say, Thomas, who are you? And he says, I am a Mackenzie. Right? Because he is Thomas Mackenzie. He's not Thomas the black child or Thomas the white child. He's Thomas Mackenzie, and he is a child of God. And we're growing him to know as much as possible about the Canadian lifestyle and the Caribbean, everything he needs to know, because he's growing into the world and he will need to embrace diversity and be sound, structured, have a foundation in who he is, and that's how we're raising him.
And if I could just add to that, which is beautiful, by the way, but to add that, yes, they are biracial, but society actually sees them. Because my son, as much as he's biracial, he looks Spanish. But because when they know that he's from a black mother and I go anywhere, right away, they associate him as being black. But that's the person, they're not gonna say you're biracial or whatever, it's like you're a black child. You know, my daughter's the same thing. As much as she may look Spanish or whatever, they're still, you're a black child. So I try to educate them on both sides to let them know that, yes, they're Jamaican, but they're also Greek, they're also Irish, they're also, so you try to, you know, blend everything in there to let them know.
We have a question. Sorry, it's a statement and a question. So thank you very much. I love the honesty. I must admit though, I was glad that what you said. There are challenges, and I felt it was going in a way that everything was perfect. And I think it is important to identify there are challenges. I work as a public health nurse, and I would put out dolls, black and whites. Dolls, and the black dolls are always left. Yes. And if we're not real with that, there's a danger that our children will feel, I don't know my identity. To have dolls left black, and all the white dolls are taken, saddens me. So I respect what you've all said, and I just want to mention one more point. My daughter was given a doll, because I taught my children the same way, that, you know, just accept everybody. And when she was at school, they gave them that crying doll, and one day she sat with her friend who was Greek, and the friend, she overheard the friend say, I could never take a black doll home, my dad will kill me. And she came home and she was broken. She cried. And I realized I forgot to tell her her history. So I think it's important that we don't deny that, because it will hurt them when they come in confronted with it and their parents never taught them. So but thank you, and I thank you for your honesty with that.
And just to clarify, remember, most of us have grown children.
Yeah, but that's what I'm just trying to say.
That perspective.
And I'm just saying that even though we have grown children, even our partners, we have to bring them into the hard side of the history. Yes. That they understand that sometimes we might react certain ways, or sometimes we ignore certain things, but we can't ignore that there is a history that is so deep. And because they love us, they will go into that history. We mustn't deny it. And we can't make it all look happy.
It's painful, it's painful for them too.
Yes.
When we speak about black issues or black and white issues, stuff that's pretty prominent in the media. It's painful knowing that.
And that's why we have to go,
he loves his black woman.
And that's why we have to bring them with us.
It's painful for them to hear it, that it actually exists. It does. And there is that invisible background that they hear, which is male white privilege or white privilege. It is that way.
We have to talk
But
about it.
it's something that you do gradually.
Yes.
Not everybody understands it.
And very true, and we thank you very much for raising that issue, and I'm wondering if maybe anyone on Facebook Live has a comment or a question? Is anyone on Facebook Live? No? Well, we actually have just 2 minutes left, and so we've talked about a lot of great things today. And I hope that this won't be the end of the discussion. I hope you'll take this discussion home with you. Our hashtag is JustTalk, hashtag JustTalk. If you'd like to find this Facebook Live link, if you'd like to share it with some of your family members and friends, and please let us know if you want to have a discussion like this again.
Yeah, I would love to.
I think it was wonderful. Any last words, Shelley, that you'd like to share?
Well,
Would you like to sing?
like to address the audience, one of what you were saying about our history. For me, my husband gets very involved in who I am, my community. A matter of fact, part of this project here, and the reason why I wanted to bring this panel here together is to start talking about some of these things, because these are some of the things that I know for a fact. I have women friends, black friends, who tell me, oh, I wish I could date a white guy or something like that. And I'm saying, well, instead of telling just me, let's start talking about some of these things. And like I said, for the statistics, 32,000, there are 32,000 more black women across Canada, more than black men. And what are these women doing? Don't limit yourself, just keep an open mind. And we are working on a lot of projects right now, documentary projects, film projects, that's dealing with black mothers and black women, because he cares about what I care about. And I think that's, if you find somebody in your life that cares about the things that you care about, it's a good start. So I just wanted to end with that.
Wonderful words of wisdom. Thank you. Marlene, would you like to add?
If I could just encourage each one of you to plan and prepare. Plan for your future, prepare for your future, your relationship. Most of us go to university, college, and we study, and we learn, and we understand how to prepare ourselves for our future career. But we're not doing that from a relational viewpoint. And there are, I do believe, there are things that God can break in whether it's culture, whether it's relational, and He can give us a new beginning. And that's what I really live by, is that God is able to give that new beginning, and that there's a lot of Isaac and Rebecca situation out there where you can fall in love and you can have a biblical portrait of marriage. And that's what I pray for single adults, not just today but forever.
Thank you. Andrea?
Amen. And if I could just add that I know a lot of us are saying that we're looking for our Boaz, but if we can be open to, maybe we'll see a David, maybe we'll meet a Joseph, right? Just to be open. A favorite movie of mine is called Something New. I would encourage you to watch that. It's an amazing movie, but it opens you up to knowing that we need to get past this whole skin tone and really realize that love is colorblind, doesn't see any color. So that would be my encouragement to everyone.
Thank you for that perspective. Laura?
Yes, for me, I say get yourself ready. Prepare. Clean up your credit. Go back to school if you have to. Take classes. Be culturally aware. Step outside of your boundaries. Step outside of church. Step outside of your limitations.
You'll find love when you least expect it.